You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to an evening at the movies.
For as far as the eye can see, well, I'm old. My eyes don't see that far away. But welcome, everybody. This is an evening at the movies. I am your incredibly excited to be here host. Um, Evidently, my name tonight is Outlander, but we'll get into that in a little while. But for those of you who know, it is my favorite time of the year. It is our fifth annual. Well, I'll get into that in a minute. But before I get into that, um, for those of you watching us on the YouTube and on the Facebook and on the Twitter and all that, that to my left is not Amanda, but you will recognize the face as Josh from Toontastic Journeys, the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. He is with us. He is covering for somebody who's half-assing and milking her not pneumonia, but it is what. No, Amanda is definitely 100% sick, and we wish her a speedy recovery because we got another one of these coming up here in a couple of days, and there's no rest for the wicked. We man down, we move on. So, but definitely 100% welcome back, Josh.
Hey, come on. Sorry to hear about Amanda feeling bad. I hope you recover soon, Amanda. But I'm excited to be here. I'm a big fan of the man we're celebrating today. And I'm looking forward to talking about this movie. It had been a while since I've seen it. And so it was interesting to
And
rewatch it with kind of fresh eyes.
I have some thoughts,
I'm
especially
sure you do.
doing my research for my notes for this episode, and we're going to get into all of that. But for those of you who do not know, or maybe new to the show, or all of that, September is Stephen King Birthday Bonanza because the greatest author in the world turns 78 on September 28th, or not September 28th, September 21st. What the frick? I can't read my own handwriting. So, um, what we've done every year so far on an evening at the movies is we celebrate Stephen King all month long. So, uh, this month might be a little bit special because I think Amanda and I only picked two of the movies that we're going to cover, and the unpopped kernels picked the rest of them. So,
Oh,
this
that's
one
fun.
and next week's episode are the two that the unpopped kernels picked. So, um, for those of you who picked this movie, and well, I won't get into my thoughts on next week's movie, but I'll let you know what we're talking about at the end of the show. But there's some feelings about the movie. I'm not going to lie. But before we get into that, though, um, I will let you guys know after we debut this new segment on An Evening at the Movies, where I got this inspiration last night at like 11:30 on while scrolling on TikTok. Just whoop, whoop. So it's actually it looked kind of fun. So I figured, what the hell, Stephen King Birthday Bonanza is probably a good time to try it. So what we're going to do, I'm calling it a Stephen King battle. I've got a list of various Stephen King movies, and we're going to go down the list, one movie versus one movie. Josh is going to pick the winner, and then the winner will go on to face the next movie down on the list, and we'll go back and forth like that. And Josh will ultimately pick what he thinks is the best Stephen King movie out of the 8 that I have listed here.
Can you hear me, Kasey? Your mic.
Yeah. Okay.
There you
So
are.
I don't know where my shit cut out, but
I know what we're doing. I know we're doing a battle, and I'm excited for
okay.
it.
So again, one movie versus one movie. The winner goes on to face the next movie down the list, and whatever comes out the winner, Josh is single-handedly responsible for this.
Two will
So
enter, one will leave.
you pretty much. So the joy of this is, and I don't remember the person that caused the inspiration for this, but his wife totally likes to fuck with him while doing this. So she'll literally give him some of like the toughest matchups ever imaginable.
Oh man, this will be
I
fun.
don't think I don't think I'm gonna be that bad with this, but we'll do the game and we'll see. And then I also, because I had it planned out for Amanda to be here as well, because we
Hmm.
thought she might join us, so I had one for her too. We'll put a
Okay.
pin we'll put a pin in Amanda's and we'll save that one for next week when she's back. So we'll screw with her once she's here to be screwed with and torture her brains out. But in the meanwhile, it's time to torture Josh.
All
So,
right.
all
Bring
right.
it.
First up, we've got the Green Mile versus Stand By Me.
Ooh, dang, we're starting off already with a tough one. Oh man,
And just remember,
you
you have
know,
no idea what's coming after this on this list either.
I really don't. I really don't. Wow. Typically I would pick the Green Mile because I love that movie. Michael Clark Duncan is amazing, and there's just so many cool things about that movie. It's just such a good story. And not just Michael Clark Duncan. I mean, you got a whole plethora of amazing actors. But I am a sucker for a really, really good coming of age story. So Stand By Me is my pick.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not doing this alongside you because there's no way I could have picked between those two movies
Oh,
at all.
yeah, that's tough, man. It's two of my favorite King movies. Well, I won't say favorites. Two of my like top five King movies.
I Yeah, both of these are solidly in my top 5.
Hmm.
Everybody who knows me knows the Green Mile is my number 1.
Oh yeah.
Depending upon my mood, Stand By Me somewhere in the middle of all that. So, but I don't think you could go wrong with either pick. So, we got Stand By Me moving on, and round 2 we have Stand By Me versus Christine.
Oh, I think I'm gonna go with Stand By Me again.
Again, not judging. I love Christine as well, but
Oh yeah. I mean, all these movies are good movies. You know. Well, I'm assuming. I'm assuming.
um, I will say this right now. Hopefully, after I announce this third matchup, we can still be friends.
All right. Uh-oh.
We have Stand By Me versus Shawshank Redemption.
Oh man. I thought It versus the Green Mile was tough.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I gotta go with Shawshank on this one. I mean, I can't even say like, yeah, nah. I gotta go with Shawshank. Shawshank is just not only the overall better movie, but it's also, in my opinion, just it slightly edges out Stand By Me as being more entertaining.
I can't argue with anything that you said. I mean, again, Shawshank is one of those that's in my top 5. And again, depending upon my mood, that determines whether it's 2, 3, 4, or 5. So,
Mm-hmm.
next up we have Shawshank versus not the miniseries, 1980 Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Mm-hmm. You know, I know it's a bit controversial among Kings fans because of the changes made, but I feel like The Shining is the quasi-essential Stephen King movie.
I
I mean, it's up there. You have Christine, Carrie, Cujo's, just so many good ones. But like, The Shining is just so iconic, and Stanley Kubrick, did an amazing job. Jack Nicholson.
it's
Yeah,
a
I'm gonna
mind
go with The
fuck.
Shining. I'm definitely gonna go with The Shining.
Okay. The Shining versus Misery.
I'm still gonna pick The Shining, but shout out to Misery because that is a damn good movie. I love that movie. It's very well done, and it's very scary to think about ever being in that situation.
Shout out to Mr. DeAndre Robinson, who every time somebody says the word misery, all of a sudden his ankle starts hurting. So,
Right?
I mean, go figure. Um, so next up we have The Shining versus It 2017.
Part one or part two?
Part what?
I'm still gonna go with The Shining. I love the sequel. However, part one's the best one out of those two. I didn't really care for part two, but I love part one. But yeah, if it was up against the OG, it might be a little different. But The Shining's gonna move on.
I was trying to set up that matchup for the end because last but not least, we have The Shining versus It 1990.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was
I
coming.
mean,
Ah,
you
as iconic
had
as The Shining is, the miniseries is just so good. And Tim Curry, boy, I mean, you know how many people out there right now have a fear of clowns thanks to Tim Curry in this movie? So many people.
one of them is named Amanda Kohlhofer.
I believe it. I am going to go with It. I'm gonna go ahead and pick that as my winner there because that original one, man, it's so good,
I mean,
so good.
not judging at all,
Mhm.
but I think of these 8 movies, whichever one would have came out, I wouldn't have been upset with.
I mean, honestly, no. Any of these movies that would have won, it's like, well, it's a good ass movie. Like every single movie on that list, I'd be happy to sit and watch here in the next hour. You know.
Yeah, no, and especially some of them that are not naming names, the Green Mile, that are 8.5 hours long, and still 100 views later, cause me to ugly cry every damn time I watch that movie.
I
But
mean, you and me both, brother.
I mean, that's a testament to the great performance of Michael Clark Duncan, and
Hmm.
well, at the same time, for Michael Clark Duncan to have that performance, you have to have somebody to work off of. So hats off to Tom Hanks as well.
Yes, indeed.
So, so of all these movies, Josh has it 1990 as his winner. Again, not a bad choice. I love the movie. I love the miniseries. I love, for various reasons, it 2017 as well. Um,
Hmm.
we might have some different opinions coming up here in a couple of weeks when we wrap up Stephen King Birthday Bonanza, because we'll be talking it chapter two. But
Mm.
but uh I'm going to torture the shit out of Amanda because it chapter two is the start of a 3 week run where we will be discussing all things horror clowns. It chapter two,
Mm.
killer clowns from outer space, and
Ooh.
clown in a cornfield.
Oh man, man, man.
So
Those are some good flicks right there.
almost a month of Amanda being uncomfortable and watching clowns. I don't even remember why we made this deal, but
Please tell me it's accumulating into her having to watch one of the scariest, most deadly clowns ever.
Art the Clown.
Yes, indeed.
Um,
I
I
don't
have
know if she can
finally
make it through
gotten
it, to
her.
be honest. I don't know.
She said she watched part one.
Oh, she did? Okay. I figured by the time
Uh,
it got to the Saw scene, she'd be done.
yeah, she said she wasn't overly impressed with the upside down hooker.
Oh, okay. Huh, maybe she'll watch the other two then.
I can't necessarily say as I blame her. That
Mm-hmm.
was a little bit graphic,
Oh, yeah.
but she's really not impressed with the fact that part two and part three are both 2.5 hour long horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
But um, the plan is that ultimately the culmination is when Chancey Greif returns from the witness protection program,
Oh, yeah.
that we will be discussing Terrifier in some capacity. Amanda has willingly said that she will be a part of the episode, but at the same time, she's probably not going to have anything nice to say. So
Well, if
I
she ends up needing to pull a parachute and you guys need a replacement, hit me up. I'm a big fan of the Terrorizer franchise, and I'm more than happy to speak at length about them.
I love them. But yeah, no, we may just have to do a massive episode come that time because um, it'll be Chancey's return. Well, it'll be fairly early in Chancey's return to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Both Dre and Harvey have said they want to be a part of that episode.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I would say make it a network episode, but
Yeah, for sure.
I'm pretty sure at least one of the girls in the network probably won't join us. Not
Oh,
naming
yeah.
any name, Kendra Beltran. Kendra Beltran does not strike me as a horror movie nut.
Uh huh.
But we'll see. We've got a little bit of time to arrange everything and all of that. So,
This is true.
so yes, Stephen King Birthday Bonanza, month long celebration to the greatest author in the world, Stephen King. And we're going to kick it off this week with a discussion of 1984's Children of the Corn.
The Children of the Corn.
Mhm. Of corn in the corn. There's too much corn in this damn movie.
There's all kind of corn in this movie,
So,
man.
but for those of you who don't know, Children of the Corn released on March 9th, 1984, was directed by Fritz Kirsch, released by New World Pictures, had a $3 million budget, made a whopping $14.6 million at the box office. How? I have not the foggiest idea, but again, we'll get into that later in the episode.
Hmm.
Um, if you have not seen it, it is available to stream on Prime and on Tubi, both for free, so you don't have to worry about renting it. And I also have a couple Rotten Tomato scores. Would you like to wager a guess as to what you think the critics thought of this movie?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see. The critics, Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to wager out on a 43%.
What about the audience?
The audience, I'm going to say 47.
So the audience, 50,000 plus members of the audience, mind you, gave it a 40%,
Oh, wow. Okay.
which, not gonna lie, is a lot higher than I thought it was gonna be.
I know I was being kind of generous too, but I was like, well, there's always those weirdos, you know. I'm one
Right?
of them. I definitely got some movies that are stinkers on Rotten Tomatoes that are like some of my top favorites.
I mean, there's a reason why we say in the network, fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
And truly, fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
Um, so, um, while okay, really quick before I get to the comments, because for some reason they're not popping up on my StreamYard, but they are popping up on Facebook. Um,
Oh, nice.
everybody's fa- everybody's favorite co-host is commenting along with us.
Hey, Amanda.
So, um, and the critic score on 33 reviews is 36%.
Lower than I thought. Wow. Okay. I mean, I was kind
So,
of close, which makes me feel good, but definitely lower than I
eh,
thought.
you both weren't entirely off because Amanda also said 58% for the audience and 46% for the critics. So,
Okay.
um, really quick before, like I said, before we get into what's coming, and okay, no, 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 turn that off. What in the action? Turn that off. Okay, this is all getting screwy because all that. But Amanda said, and I quote, "I watched the first one and covered my eyes a lot." As far as what the hell just happened?
Apparently I got kicked out, but I came back in. I think my connection just wavered for a minute.
Okay, well, okay. So I'm going to pop over on my phone so I can turn the volume off and not have
All right.
to worry about that. And um, Amanda said, "Nope, nope, nope." I'm guessing that is in reference to her watching the Terrifier movies. She said followed that up with I watched the first one and covered my eyes a lot. Missed me with the rest of that franchise. And then her guess was the 58% for the audience, 46% for the critics, and those ratings track. So,
All right.
um, I have, like I said, co-host. I have, and she said correct. That was nope, nope, nope when it comes to Terrifier. But I remind her she did promise she will be a part of the Terrifier chance at return to an evening at the movies. We are just fully prepared that she will not have anything nice to say at all about the movie. So, um,
Mhm.
all right.
And hopefully, sooner than later, she watches the little movie called We Go On. Uh,
I
'Cause that
agree.
definitely is something we need to talk about at some point in time.
Yes. So, um, to steal one of Amanda's jobs because she's not here. As far as awards go for this movie did not get a damn award anywhere at all across the board. Obviously,
Were the Razzies in play at that time, or had they not been invented yet?
they were in play at the time, but I'm sure there was probably worse movies that came out in
I
1984
mean, yeah, it
than this
wasn't a
movie.
terrible, terrible movie. I watched the whole thing, and there were parts I enjoyed.
Yeah, and Amanda did say she will be here for that episode as well. So
Sweet,
we
sweet.
we have a verbal commitment. She's not getting out of it. She's not off the hook. So the only other thing, kind of sort of along the line for awards that this movie had listed is the fact that Rolling Stone ranked it number 7 on its top Stephen King movies of all time. I
Interesting.
would like to know
Number
what.
seven's pretty high.
Uh, yes, now they show up here, so that will make it easier for me to keep track of what you're
Oh, sweet. I
talking
see him.
shit about, co-host. Um, so I did forewarn Amanda when I saw this earlier that I was not happy about this because I can, like I told her, and I can almost, without even reading the comment or the text message I sent her, verbatim tell you that my thoughts were The Green Mile, Misery, Stand By Me, Shawshank, Carrie, and The Shining are probably the 6 movies that were ranked higher than Children of the Corn,
Hmm.
as they should be. But at the same time, that means movies like It 1990,
Hmm.
Christine, It 2017, It Chapter 1, Doctor Sleep, all these movies that are way better than Children of the Corn are ranked lower than Children of the Corn by Rolling Stone. Uh-uh.
Mm.
I don't think so, people. So, like I said, not only fuck Rotten Tomatoes, fuck Rolling Stone.
Hmm.
So, um, really quick before we get into the discussion, though, I do have to flip back over to my phone because uh, there may be people out there who have not watched the movie before, and well, let's be honest, it is what it is. But um, so, really quick, if you don't know what Children of the Corn is about, as physician Bert Stanton and his girlfriend Vicky drive across the Midwest to his new job, their trip comes to a sudden halt when they encounter the body of a murdered boy in the road. In trying to contact the authorities, Bert and Vicky wander into a small town populated only by children, followers of a sinister young preacher, Isaac. Soon, the couple is fleeing the youthful fanatics who want to sacrifice them to their demonic deity. And um, with all that said, I think one thing we've learned as a network is that Rolling Stone never knows what the fuck they're doing. She's not wrong,
No, she is
and
not.
I did make a promise to my co-host that um, I don't even have to say it. She read my freaking mind. So Guma co-host, and she's going to make the statement herself. So with all that said, a town run by Joffrey Baratheon, first of his name.
You know,
So
after Amanda pointed that out and I heard about it and then proceeded to watch the movie, I could not unhear it. Every time Isaac talked, it was like, holy shit.
he has that look in the face. He has
Mm-hmm.
that tone in his voice, and I want to reach through the TV and slap the crap out of him every time that he opens his mouth.
Right?
So again, thank you to Amanda for binge watching the entire 8 seasons of Game of Thrones so that you could draw those two parallels or draw that parallel. Scissors. Um, so, all right. So, we're all basically of the opinion um, that there's some elements of this movie that are good and bad. Um, if you were to pull something out of thin air that you thought really worked about this movie, what would it be?
Honestly, for me, it's the concept. I like the concept a lot. This idea of this entity that takes over this town's kids, and has them as this religious cult. Because already, anytime I'm watching a horror movie, you got kids that are either demonic or just know too much or strange. It creeps the fuck out of me. And so, like, it adds that nice little creep factor, And so, this idea about you're driving along in this little idyllic town and you come across, this small town with all the corn and all the people are gone except for the kids, and then the kids are trying to kill you. Fantastic idea. I think it could be executed better, though.
Oh, I think there was definitely some execution issues in this movie. As far as
Absolutely.
execution goes, though, I will say this: I will give hats off to Peter Horton, the guy who played Bert in the movie,
Hmm.
because once he injures his right arm, what about halfway through the movie?
Yep.
Like he's running through the town, dead arm hanging there. He's not using his arm at all. It just he's beating the crap out of one of the kids, not using his right arm at all. I mean, he's punching with his left hand, backhanding with his left hand, all of it. So he sold the injured right arm pretty well. And the thing
100%.
that works best for me is the short runtime. Yeah, I'm not gonna. This movie was like what, an hour and a half long, hour and
Yeah,
35 minutes
it was
long.
definitely a shorty, man. Yeah.
So I do believe the remake is a tad bit longer,
Hmm.
but I've only made it about halfway through that movie. Not gonna lie. So
Well,
please don't
and it's
crucify the Stephen King bibliophile. But
you know, it's weird though, because the interesting thing that I found is like the remake. It, I think I've seen every one except for maybe a couple of straight to DVD ones. I know I saw the one where Isaac came back. And I know I saw Urban Harvest, which honestly is probably my favorite out of all these movies. Um, but the remake, it's so much closer to the short story. And I found out when I was researching for this that like they butchered Steve, like they actually had King wrote the screenplay for this movie. And then they kept
Yeah.
adding production notes and changed it until we end up what we had now. To the point when they made the remake, the guy wanted Stephen King to have writer's credits because he basically took King's original script and kept it mostly intact. And King at first, to his lawyers, said, I don't want anything to do with it. But after watching advanced screen, then was like, okay, you can put me down for writer credits.
Yeah. There seemed to be a lot of screenwriters taking liberties with his work early in
Mm-hmm.
his career. Again, Stanley Kubrick,
Yep.
um, New World Pictures. Um, so it's not an uncommon phenomenon to horribly adapt a King novel onto the big screen because, and we've talked about it a lot over the last 4 years, but Stephen King movies are hard to accurately adapt to the screen because of the nature of how wordy and verbose he can be. I haven't read
Yes.
the short story, but all jokes aside, the most unbelievable thing about this movie is an entire town disappearing and it goes unnoticed by the rest of the world. Okay, you know what? Go
That's a
pour
good point.
yourself. That is a good point, but go pour yourself a glass of wine and take a gummy co-host because it's Stephen King. Weird shit like that happens in almost every story he's ever written.
Mm-hmm.
I, I mean, he wrote a 6-book story about a mouse that pushes a thread spool across the prison floor. I mean,
You're not
like
wrong.
the only thing right off the top of my head that I can think of that doesn't really have any weirdness to it per se is probably Stand By Me.
Mm. Here's the thing, though. I think that's not the weirdest thing. The weirdest
Okay.
thing for me, and it even slightly took me out of the movie a little bit, is that these kids with no parents anymore because they killed them all would give up all their electronics and toys to go work in the field at the say so of the preacher's son. Like the mid, they're like, oh yeah, well, he doesn't want us to have electronics, and they're all handing them over, and then they're in the field with the little corn skice. I was just like, that would never fucking happen. I'm like, those kids would not give up their electronics. I mean, but these are 80s kids. It was a different time.
Yeah,
Could not happen today though, because kids, they're like addicted to screen time.
I was gonna say if you think that wouldn't happen in the '80s, it really would not happen in 2025.
Agreed.
Ain't no kid giving up their cell phone. Ain't no kid giving up their Switch. Ain't gonna happen. So, um,
Hmm.
ye- I mean, I'm pretty much in agreement with both of you. Probably the biggest aspects of this that I found that didn't work was the quote unquote unbelievable. We're gonna live in a world of you know just kids, Lord of the Flies style,
Hmm.
and the world's not gonna notice at all in any way, shape, or form that there's no adults and all of that. I mean,
Yeah,
somebody has
right.
somebody has to drive through this town at some point. I mean,
Well, and even though they kind of showed a little bit of how they're dealing with that with the gas station attendant that they kept alive so he could get them gas, and then changing the signs around so they didn't know which way was which. Still, at some point, you gotta figure the town that was next to him, Hermiston or something. Oh, I can't think of it now.
Hemingford.
But the town, yeah, that was right next to Gatlin that they kept trying to go to. You think somebody from that town would have been like, "Oh, I went to go visit my auntie or my cousin," you know?
Yeah. Well, and again, shout out to the fact too that Mr. King loves to sprinkle Easter eggs from all throughout his world, but um, the town of Hemingford, Nebraska, is not just a Children of the Corn setting. It's
No, it's
also
not.
pops up in another triple textbook size novel called The Stand as the hometown of one Mother Abigail.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, spoiler alert. I mean, not spoiler alert, but Easter eggs abound throughout Stephen King's works, and that's probably one of my favorite things about his is like you can read a book. Like I bought 11/22/63 when it came out, and I started reading it, and it doesn't take very long before you start seeing Easter eggs to it, which came out what 35 years prior. So, and on top of it,
You're Mike Casey. All right. We had you at end on top of it.
so on top of all that, like the Dark Tower series, if you read that whole thing, you know that the main premise of that is all things serve the theme.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you have the Dark Tower, and the Dark Tower is the center of the King multiverse. So all things are connected through
Yep.
tower. So let's see. You're telling me that no one is going to investigate when all these adults stop showing up. All right.
I mean, that's a
Again,
good
it's
point.
again. I mean, it's everybody knows Amanda is the intellectual version of the An Evening at the Movies host, and she's not making invalid arguments. But again, I harken back to it's Stephen King. All bets are off the table when he does his thing. So
Well, and
there's
they
all that.
do address it a tiny bit in the sequel. Just a tiny bit, not a lot, but just a little bit in the sequel.
True. So, um, was there anything about this movie that you absolutely fell in love with, though?
Love might be a really big term to use here.
Well,
The stuff
yeah.
that I liked about the movie, once again, I love the concept. I think the concept's great. Um, I liked that I forgot Linda Hamilton was in it. I felt like she could be utilized a little bit better, but that was cool. And then I think some of the child acting was pretty good, like especially the two main kids. I forget his name, but the little boy who narrates from the beginning, and then his
Oh yeah.
sister who has the visions. Um,
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I
They're
wish honestly, I think the movie would have been better off if they would have kept it more from their point of view. They could have still had the adults, but kept it with those kids' point of view and made them the main
yeah.
protagonist. I think it would have did a lot better, But And then, as cheesy as they were, I'm sure it blew people's minds a little bit for the time. But I did like the little special effects towards the end with the sky and with the red energy going over Isaac. Uh, it was very corny and cheap, but at the same time, it was like, okay, I forgot that's what that stuff looked like, and I kind of liked it.
So Amanda said she has never, in all capital letters, seen one of the sequels. So, I mean,
The
I haven't
second
seen.
one's not that great. The
I was gonna
third
say
one is my favorite.
I haven't seen them all, but yeah,
I want to say I've
there's.
seen the first six, and I've seen both of the remakes.
Oh, and rumor has it they're talking about another remake as well.
I'm not surprised. It's one of those franchises they keep trying to just wring money out of.
Yeah, uh, I yeah, I I'm over remakes in Hollywood right now. I really am.
I mean, there's so many good ideas out there that like just keep getting us good ideas. I mean, it's how we end up with stuff like Sinners, you know. And
Yeah,
so just keep feeding us new
and
stuff.
and I also will agree with my co-host again too. That like choir version of the theme song or the theme music
Hmm.
is insanely eerie and creepy as hell.
Yeah, you know what? I gotta agree. I didn't really think about it until she mentioned it, but yeah, that's actually a pretty good score.
So yeah, again, let's see. And yes, some of the child acting was exceptional. I mean, they portray assholes very well,
Hmm.
and bringing us up to current times. That is way too many movies for this short story. I mean, again, she's not wrong.
Yes,
I
not at
mean,
all.
I mean, if you're gonna do 18 freaking sequels, you you know there are thick ass books like 11/22/63, The Stand, Needful Things, It, all of that. By the way, shout out to the fact that in about 6 weeks we will be finally getting Welcome to Derry on HBO Max,
Looking forward to
and
that very much
I
so.
am so excited for that, and I can't wait to bring that to an evening at the movies as well. Technically not a movie, limited series, but
Oh, who cares?
at this point, we've been around long enough. People expect us to talk about what we love, and we love
Hmm.
it. So, um, but yeah, the music definitely had that 80s horror movie, like Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street vibe to it that really I felt like it captured the essence of the movie.
Hmm.
So, very astute. Let's observation co-host, and on top of it, we're also getting the long walk in like
Yes. Oh, that's one of my
I
favorite
had
of the Beckman novels right there.
I had all of that planned out for the conclusion, but yes, we've got like 2 weeks to go until the long walk, and then in November we're getting a supposedly more faithful adaptation of The Running Man as well.
Yeah, the trailer for it actually looks really good. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
Um, I mean, the trailer for Halloween Ends looked really good too, but
That's a good point. Oh, I wish that movie didn't exist. Oh, jeez.
uh, well, I mean, there's no need for you to apologize, co-host, because at the same time, we know you and I Guma all the time, and you read my thoughts because you and I share the same brain. So it is what it is, and you were just making sure that all of that got brought to the forefront, which is very greatly appreciated. I'm The Running Man was one of my guilty pleasure movies growing up as a kid. So
The
I
one-liners were pretty damn good.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The uh, Buzzsaw death in the game traumatized me, and then to have Arnold Schwarzenegger tell what's her face that he had to split, absolutely hilarious.
Oh, Arnie.
So definitely, I don't feel like Schwarzenegger was a fair representation of what that character was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things where you're smack dab in the middle of the '80s with Schwarzenegger and Stallone, and those kind of stars were the hot button topics. So back on track though. Um, so if you were to go ahead and rate this movie out of 5, what would you give the movie?
I give it a 3.
I mean, you're not entirely. It's not, like I said, it's not a horrible movie at all.
No.
I grew up just as you did, just as Amanda did, watching cheesy ass 80s horror movies and
Mm-hmm.
loving cheesy ass 80s horror movies. So, this one isn't necessarily cheesy as much as it's corny.
See what you did there.
Pun intended. But again, this isn't really one that if I haven't seen it in a year, 2 years, whatever, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I need to go sit down right now and watch Children of the Corn.
I agree.
It's like I appreciate the listeners for voting in our group and electing this movie to be one of the 4 that we talked about this month. But I, I don't think I would put it in my top 10 favorite King movies of all time. I'm gonna give it 3 Outlanders out of 5. So again, if I was to, if somebody was to come up to me and ask if I would recommend they see this movie for the first time, I might him and haw about it a little bit and go back and forth and present both sides of the equation. But if you haven't seen this movie and you like horror, this is not a bad movie per se. It's just you may not be having your mind blown by the end of the movie. And like Amanda said, the running time, it's only 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you're gonna lose, whatever. If you watched a movie and didn't like it, that still leaves you plenty of time in the day to go pop in, you know, the Green Mile and watch 8.5 hours of emotional cutting or whatever you want to watch. A Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween or whatever your horror preference is. But if you're a King fan, I would say definitely, absolutely, 100%. If you have not seen this movie, you need to see it. But if you're lukewarm on the genre, it is what it is. If you want to, go watch it. If not, there's that too. You're
Mhm.
not missing out on anything per se. You're it's Children of the Corn. It's it's not a high level, highbrow concept. It's it's a good concept, but at the same time, it's not something that's going to blow your mind at the end of the day. So next up, we have my brother and I watched this on repeat as kids. Definitely guilty pleasure. 3.5 out of 5. Joffrey Baratheons. Oh, I knew she would beat the Joffrey Baratheon dead horse.
Mhm.
Uh, Add a gummy or booze for extra enjoy. I'm, I'm
I
not gonna
mean,
lie.
great advice.
Alcohol and gummies will just about make every movie more enjoyable.
Mm.
So, before I get to our top fives really quick, last week on our tribute to Wes Craven, Amanda posed a question um, during our discussion that I personally kind of sort of beat around the bush on because I didn't necessarily want to answer it per se, but for her own sake and for the sake of um, our amazing, awesome fans. Um, so the question was, and co-host, if I'm reciting this incorrectly, please comment in and let me know 100% for sure. But the ending to A Nightmare on Elm Street, basically, the final death of Freddy transferring into that, I guess you could say, cliffhanger. I'm trying to drag my feet so that hopefully Amanda will type in a better version of said question. Um, so ultimately, Amanda's biggest complaint was the ending confused her
You mean
to
where she turns around?
it. it so yeah. Mm, 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 mm. So okay, really quick, co-host, are you still watching? And if you are, can I borrow you for 5 minutes, please? I know you're sick, but I can send you the link so you can explain the question better. With all that said, while I wait for her response, um, do you have a top five list that you brought to share with our amazing audience?
I sure do. So
So,
for my list, I did things a little different. Um, Steven is the master of, as you mentioned before, connecting his stories.
absolutely.
And one of the ways he does that is by different towns. So I decided to do my top five fictional or fictionalized towns and Stephen King works.
Which I thought was an amazing fucking idea. And
Yeah.
um, close that.
Uh,
Okay, so as you were, sir.
all right. So number five for me on this list. But before I get into my number five, I'm going to get into my honorable mentions. My honorable mentions include Gatlin, which we just discussed at some length, talking about Children of the
Yep.
Corn, and its neighbor Hemingford home. Um, just because they both are mentioned in multiple works. Not as much as other things, but multiple. I also, as an honorable mention, have Desperation Nevada because I do.
Say hello to my co-host.
Hello.
Hi, co-host.
Oh, we got a special guest.
Let
Oh,
Josh finish his top 5 and then I can.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Josh, go ahead and finish your top
I'm
five, and
good.
then we'll let her explain the question, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds like a plan. All right, so for my number 5, I picked Ludlow.
For those of you who don't know, from Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, and that's from Pet Cemetery, and it's used a few times. It's
Did Josh freeze?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me? Did my mic cut out?
It cut out for just a second.
Oh, okay, so I was saying for my number 4, I picked.
Uh-oh.
Oh, his Wi-Fi kicked him out again.
Well, that's not good for business.
Well, no. Well, he was only gone for a second last time. So,
That is true.
how you
Hi,
feeling?
people. Like ass. Do I sound sexy, though? My sticky shoe.
I'm not gonna lie,
Why you got a
listeners.
stick on me?
Amanda has Amanda has been struck down in the prime of life.
Yes, yes, she has.
So,
That's funny. So I got Chamberlain as my number 4, the one from Carrie,
yeah.
and then Jerusalem's Lot from Salem's Lot is my number 3,
Good
and
one.
then for my number 2 and my number 1, I'm sure any Stephen King fan could take a pretty good guess and hit it out the park. And I went back and forth on which one would be which, and ultimately my number 2 came down to Castle Rock,
Ah,
which is just there's too many things it's connected to just sit here and name,
Yeah.
but it's so good and there's so many connections. They actually made a anthology type of little show called Castle Rock about all the connections in the town of Castle Rock. Um, Very similar to kind of what we're getting with Welcome to Derry, and Derry, of course, is my number 1.
every time I hear Castle Rock, all I hear is Fraggle Rock.
Uh, we're
Down at
trying
Castle Rock.
not to make Amanda laugh because we don't need to make her cough and make her stomach hurt even more.
Oh
Oh my
yeah,
god,
yeah.
I'm
We'll try our
so
best.
sore. I'm
uh,
Mm,
so sore.
but yet she doesn't have pneumonia.
I
that's
don't bel
good.
I don't believe them. I really don't, but we're gonna find out.
So,
Anyway.
all right, before we get to my top five, co-host, your question again for our amazing audience.
Okay. So my question was, first of all, can you guys hear me okay?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I can hear
Okay.
you just fine.
Okay. Um so Nancy turns her back on Freddie. We find out the whole movie's been a dream. She turns and he basically dies and she walks out of the room. And then we get the very last 2 minutes where she's out on the porch and her friends are alive and all that. So, was the part where she turns her back on Freddie and walks out the end of that dream and the last couple of minutes is a new dream? Or is she still dreaming and the whole movie's just this one long big dream and she never actually beat Freddie?
I took it very differently. Um, I never thought of it as the whole movie was one big dream. Especially because she pulls him out of the dream to fight him, and then that's when she turns her back on him to not give him power. And so I always took it as like this happened, and then when she turned her back on him and took his power away, was in the real world, wasn't the dream world. and then the tagline with her and the friends and her being dragged in the house was her having a nightmare about the situation. At least that's how I've always taken it to
Hmm.
be.
I mean, I guess I didn't because she says, like, I figured it out. This whole thing was just a dream. So to me, that meant the whole movie was a dream. And then she turns her back on him, but yeah, I guess it's kind of hard to know. I don't know.
That's a good point. No, that's a good point because I mean, it could be taken as the whole entire thing, or it could be taken as just the situation of her
Yeah.
pulling him out of the dream and him tricking her, and that was actually a dream. But yeah, I forgot about that line. So it's a good question. What's your thoughts, Casey?
Uh, so I can see both sides of the equation, and I'm not trying to him and haw over this like I did last week, but I can see Josh's point of view from what he's saying. I can also see Amanda's point of view as to what she's saying too, where you know she basically admits, I know this was a dream, and it's definitely a.
Man, you
I'm gonna.
really don't want to answer this, do you?
Well, no, I'm trying. I have all
You
these
don't
thoughts.
have to.
No, 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 no. I do. I want to, because you know how much I love these movies, and again, like I said last week, this isn't my least favorite ending to one of the movies, but it's not. I I don't think it's a great ending to the movie as well. Um, I feel like having the whole thing be a dream is a better way of putting the whole aspect of Freddy not officially dying and opening the door for Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and not what came between 84 and Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Hmm.
Because a lot of times in horror movies, you're just going to get the whole, oh, the killer just came back and blah, 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 blah. Well, if you look at it from the perspective that it's a dream, then can Freddy ever really die? And
Right.
I think that aspect adds a better, I guess, dimension to the story than just the whole, oh, she pulled him out of the dream into the real world and killed him, and then because he's a dream demon, he came back from the dead. If that makes sense.
It does make sense.
I just hate that they killed her final girl moment, and that's if anybody wants to know, go back listen to last week's show. But they just either way, they destroyed her final girl moment. They could have just let the movie end with the kids jumping the rope with the creepy song. It would have left it open for a sequel, and Nancy still would have had her moment. Like they didn't have to bring him right back immediately. Or if the entire movie was a dream and she was still dreaming, then she never really got that final girl moment, and so it was all pointless. So I don't know. It bugs.
So
Gotcha.
the comment
Have
I
you?
made
Mhm.
I was just going to say the comment I made to Amanda earlier when we were discussing this, when she showed me the clip that I posted on social media and she posted on her TikTok, was officially, this is one of those things where it's going to be open to interpretation forever, because the only living person that can, I guess, answer the question is Bob Shea from New Line, and the only other person that would know would be Wes Craven. And Wes is dead, been dead for 10 years, and Bob Shea is a studio executive.
Well, I mean, they kind of have. I mean, I'm not sure if either of you have watched Never Sleep Again because it's a long ass documentary, but it
I
covers,
have. It's
yeah,
been a
and they
while.
kind of get into it. And from what I remember, Wes Craven wanted to do more of Amanda's idea of, hey, have Nancy have her moment and defeat Freddy finally and kill it. But Bob wanted them to be set up for a sequel because
Right.
he's the
Yeah.
producer. Let's make money. And so it's kind of a compromise of like, okay, we're going to show her defeat him, but then we're going to have this little scene afterwards to show that, like, oh, he's still out there.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we
it's
talked about that too. So
it's
yeah, I
kind of
don't know.
sort of the same thing that John Carpenter went through with the Akkads and Halloween as well.
But
Yeah.
like I
Well, and to
said,
be
if Wes,
honest,
oh, sorry,
mhm.
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and to be honest, they really, if they wanted a sequel, they really didn't need to do all that because
Right.
her killing them the way she kills them by being like, oh, I realize you're feeding on my fear. I turn my back on you. All that means is on the next thing, you give a person a reason for either find out about Freddy and starting to fear him again or something, almost like they did in Freddy versus Jason. And then boom, you're back off to the races because that's all he ever needs is somebody to believe in him and fear him.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't need to do all that. Like if they had just done Wes's original idea, which was just the kids driving off in the car and then the little kids jump roping to the song,
Mm-hmm.
like that like I said on the show, that was very Halloween-esque. That was very John Carpenter-esque and would have left it open to a sequel without like shoving it down your throat.
I completely agree because I mean, you could look at that and you're just like, oh, he's still alive. Like
Yeah.
he's still, yeah, he's still there. She got him to leave her alone, but he's still there.
Because
So
again, to
yeah,
Casey's point, he's a dream monster. Can he actually be killed? Probably not.
right?
But they jumped from her defeating him to him being back in 30 seconds, and we don't even know how he came back. And
No,
so
we
it was like
don't.
so much to process, and you're just processing this amazing moment that Nancy had. So I don't know. I just feel like they shit the bed at the end of that movie, but that's just my opinion. Still a great movie, but I just
I
wanted
don't think
people's
you're wrong.
opinions on that.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a great question, and you're definitely not wrong. And the only thing that saves them is they shit the bed a lot more in number two.
Hell yeah, they did. Okay, well, thank you for taking my call, and long time listener, first time caller. Thanks for having me.
All right, take it easy.
Great show, you guys, and hopefully, next time you hear my voice, it'll sound a lot better.
I hope so.
Not quite this sexy though. My sticky shoe. Okay. Okay, sorry. Bye.
All right, bye. Kasey, your mic.
I feel like I'm starting to get a handle on this where I understand when Amanda just talking over me and I'm trying to cut in.
Right?
That's because my mic cut out. So, um, the top five I brought to the table for us tonight is most underrated, overlooked Stephen King villains.
All right.
So with that, so for the, I'm not going to go into a long, drawn out explanation, but I want you guys to understand the fact I'm not going to the big. Everybody loves Pennywise. Everybody loves Flag. Everybody loves Cujo, and you know, I'm leaving all of that stuff off the table and more wanting to look at the people who don't get brought up and talked about as regularly as the big boys or the big girls, depending upon your perspective. So, um, I have two honorable mentions. One is Room 1408 from the movie 1408.
Hmm. That's a good choice.
Definitely
I like that.
thinking outside of the box. So I wanted to try and bring something a little bit outside of the box to the table that people wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, so he's not just going to go with demons or humans or whatever. No, there's also really creepy, haunted hotel rooms. But again, I couldn't, if I was going to do that, I couldn't go to the Overlook because, again, the Overlook is the Pennywise of inanimate Stephen King villains. So, no Overlook, but Room 1408. Um, honorable mention number two, Percy Wetmore from The Emotional Cutting Green Mile. The prison guard was a huge freaking dick. He was a bastard. He was an asshole. He was all the negative adjectives rolled up into one. So, um, number five is Warden Norton from Shawshank Redemption. Real life villain, no supernatural aspects to him, but still one of the world's biggest freaking assholes and douches in the entire freaking world. Um, number four, Leland Gaunt from Needful Things, and sprinkled throughout the dark lore of the Dark Tower, and also pops up in the body, the short story that Stand By Me is based off of.
Hmm.
So, um, number three, probably one of the top five biggest creepy pervert villains in Stephen King history, Raymond Andrew Jobert, otherwise known as the Moonlight Man from Gerald's Game.
Mm.
Um, number two, again, we needed a villain from one of the most badass freaking real life horror movies of all time. We couldn't go with Flag, so we needed to have the stand somewhere in the list, though. So we're going to go with Harold Lauder because even though he is an unwilling, well, a willing participant, he's still an asshole, crybaby, douchebag, prissy. I want to beat his ass so bad. And then
Mm.
number one, in honor of Amanda and her cat who had to have surgery and had to get shaved for said surgery, and ultimately a couple years ago passed away. Um, the cat after surgery looked like the cat in Pet Cemetery, so I nicknamed Kiwi Church. Um, when Church passed away and they got a new cat, Pearl, I had to stick with the Pet Cemetery theme though, and I nicknamed the new cat Gage Creed, and Gage Creed being my number one most overlooked and underrated villain of all time. That kid, literally just years old, and gee, yeah, makes me not want to have children. I'll say that. So, so yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Hmm.
I'm
Yes, it
happy that we
was.
finally got Stephen King Birthday Bonanza kicked off, and I look forward to so much more coming up in the next 3 weeks. But before we end the show, though, really quick, we have to thank the listeners for being here each and every week. You guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. You guys have been showing up and showing out for us each and every week, and we appreciate that and love you guys so much for it. Um, Mr. Josh, do you guys have anything coming up on the Toontastic Journeys that you would like to
Oh yeah,
show some?
definitely. So, for those of you who don't know, I have a podcast I co-host with some really awesome, amazing people called Toontastic Journeys, and we take you on a nostalgic trip back to Saturday mornings and weekday afternoon cartoon binging. We review both cartoons, old and new, both in movie form and in TV form. And right now, we are in the middle of our three-part season premiere, talking about X-Men '97. Part one is out, and part two comes out on Saturday. So be on the lookout for that. All right. That's
So
all
yeah,
I
though
got.
I've been on Toontastic Journeys as well, not
Yeah, we have to have you
recently.
on again soon because it's been a minute.
I think it was like the
You're on
second
one of our
episode.
very first episodes. Yeah, it was the second one. It was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, buddy, Turtle Power.
Mm-hmm. Turtle
So,
Power.
um, also I want to thank Amanda for feeling like roadkill and being here with us and commenting along and throwing in her 2 cents. We appreciate it. We missed you, and we hope you will be back for next week's episode as well. Um, so coming up in the next few weeks on An Evening at the Movies, we've got Silver Bullet next week. We've got The Monkey coming up as well, and It Chapter 2. Oh Lord. Um, and then, like I said, we've got Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Clown in the Cornfield, House on Haunted Hill. We're gonna discuss both the OG and the remake of that one, and then we're gonna close out Halloween Horror Fest with Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Also, though, we are working on putting together a special bonus episode to be released on September 21st, where I'm trying to get a handful of people together to sit down and have a discussion about um, the Stephen King movies that have influenced them the most in their love for movies. Mr. Josh has been invited to join us as well if we can get
Oh
everything
yeah.
set up schedule wise for that.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a few more invitations out there. I'm not willing to say who's been invited just yet. You'll have to tune in to find out. It will be a surprise. But we've got lots of big stuff coming up as well, starting in. I feel like an ass for doing this while Amanda's not here, but it is what it is. In 2026, we're going to spend time doing a whole year of various different themes throughout the entire year. So each month is going to be a different theme. We've already got the
Nice.
first couple months planned out, and the network. I did not make these rankings. Podcast Network is helping put together a list for the unpopped kernels to vote on to help us fill out the rest of the schedule so that we can have some different themes to deal or to address throughout the entire year. That doesn't. We'll still be back next year for Stephen King Birthday Bonanza 6. We'll still be back for Halloween Horror Fest in October. So we're not getting rid of those at all. But there's we've got some stuff coming on the horizon that we're excited about. So you got to keep tuning in each and every week and being here. So again, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Josh, for stepping in and helping pick up the slack while Amanda's down. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Anytime, man.
All the love. We look forward to you coming back. And again, check out Toontastic Journeys. It is an amazing show with some amazing hosts. They're funny, they're witty, they're deep, all of that all rolled up into one. Definitely check out Toontastic Journeys. And with all
Okay.
that said,
Yeah.
um, I am going to say thank you guys for being here this week. We look forward to seeing you again, hopefully in a couple of days for live Silver Bullet, and then hopefully it will be available for you next Wednesday. Crossing fingers. Otherwise, we may have to audible the schedule again. But stay tuned on the social medias for all of that. We will let you know. But we thank you guys for being here, and we hope you guys come back for an evening at the movies. Have a good week, guys.